with that down, let's go on to this, shall we? According to reports coming out of, I think, Bloomberg, Netflix is actually looking at giving Greta Gerwig what she is asking for, a theatrical release for her Narnia movies. Now, for some of you who may not know, we're just going to catch you up here quick. The filmmaker of the biggest smash hit of last year, Barbie, which what did it end up at? Like 1.5 billion?
Let me check that for you.
1.5, 1.6, somewhere in there. Barbie was the number one box office film in the world, and Greta Gerwig, for her follow-up,
1.4.
1.4, okay. Confusingly and inexplicably decided to make her next film with Netflix. Anyway, and it's a Narnia. New iteration of the Narnia films. I love the writings of C.S. Lewis. So doing more Narnia. And she was very vocal about wanting it to be theatrical, and Netflix kept saying, no, theatrical is not our model. That's not what we do. I'm like, well, if you really wanted theatrical, Greta, why'd you sign up with Netflix in the first place? But at any rate.
Money.
money. Shane O'Mac is going to come in here any second. But here's the thing. Netflix has been getting increasing amounts of heat. Not just from the public, but like from the celebrities and the filmmakers they work with. Speaking of Barbie, Margot Robbie and her new film that Netflix offered $150 million for. This guy offered her $150 million, which was $70 million more than anybody else was offering them. And Margot Robbie said, no, thanks. We don't want to go to Netflix because we want to have actually movies that are meaningful and have social impact and actually be played in the theater. So, no. Daniel Craig. The reports just came out about Daniel Craig speaking to this guy, Sandros, head of Netflix. And Daniel Craig said to him to his face, this is reported in multiple outlets, what was the exact wording?
Your model is fucked.
Yeah, your model is fucked.
It's almost like you had that on recall.
Your release. So they're getting increasing pressure. So it looks like maybe, according to this report, that they might cave a little bit and give Greta at least something of a theatrical release. This is what's being written. This comes to us from Narnia Web. It says, IMAX release for Greta Gerwig's Narnia movie. According to Bloomberg's Lucas Shaw and Puck's Matt Bellani, Netflix is in discussions with IMAX Corp to potentially release Greta Gerwig's adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia on over 2,000 IMAX screens worldwide, a major shift for the streaming giant, which has historically resisted large-scale theatrical releases. The conversation comes on the heels of Gerwig reportedly advocating for a theatrical run of her Narnia films with Netflix's new head of film, Dan Lin. Netflix was reportedly unwilling to meet her request, repeating that theaters are simply, quote-unquote, not their model. But there now appears to be a change of attitude from Netflix, as the company is now exploring a potential partnership with IMAX to bring Narnia to the big screen. Quote, while Netflix and major theater chains have never been able to agree on a business model, Gerwig and the film's producers see an opportunity with IMAX, which has close to 2,000 screens in 90 countries. IMAX has signaled to Gerwig that it will add the film to its slate of upcoming movies if Netflix agrees to such a deal. All right. Now, one of the things that they go on to talk about in the article is the fact that one of the big road bumps is that theater chains like AMC and Regal, who IMAX has many of their screens in, will not allow a film to play in their theaters unless there is some form of a minimum theatrical window. And they're saying Netflix may actually be agreeable to that for releasing Narnia around Thanksgiving. I keep forgetting because like real Thanksgiving is in October.
November.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
That's how we do it in Canada. You Americans have a weird Thanksgiving.
Then
Anyway.
go back to where you're from.
I just may.
And also, can some of us go to Canada
Can
too?
some of us come with you? So
You got room on that ranch?
putting it out in theaters around Thanksgiving and then having like a 5-week window and then in time so they can release it for holiday on Netflix. And I would say to Netflix, that's a good idea. That's what we've all been telling you, because I'll tell you this. If you want your Narnia movie to be big on Netflix, I guarantee you this. If you just release this Narnia movie straight on Netflix over the holidays, it will have a certain amount of viewership. If you put it in theaters first and then put it on Netflix, the viewership on Netflix will be exponentially bigger. They proved it with The Glass Onion.
Yeah.
They proved it. They had an estimation of how big The Glass Onion movie would debut on Netflix. And then they decided to give it a limited theatrical exposure first. And then when they put it in theaters first and then later put it on Netflix, its viewership on Netflix far exceeded what their initial projections were. Why? Because it had a theatrical release first. Again, I'm so sick and tired of this idea that it's an either or. You either have a theatrical run or you have a debut on streaming to a big audience. No. One affects the other. You put a movie in theaters first, then when you release it on streaming, it'll be a hell of a lot bigger than if you just put it direct to streaming. It's been proven over and over and over again. There's a reason why when they released the top streamed movies in 2023, every single one of those movies, every single one of the top 15 streamed movies were all movies that had theatrical releases. Every single one of them. It's not a coincidence. And maybe this is Netflix. Now, look, there's an argument to be made that they're just this. Okay, for Greta, for the maker of the biggest box office film of last year, we'll make an exception for you. Maybe that's it. But I want to believe that there are some smart people in the boardrooms of Netflix who go, yeah, the official party line is we don't do theatrical, but maybe we keep experimenting because if doing theatrical will make us more successful, let's keep exploring. I hope to believe that's what's going on here. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, The Perfect Jean. Look, you guys know I've been talking about The Perfect Jean for a while now. I absolutely love these. They fit like a dream, they look fantastic, and they are so comfortable, you forget you're even wearing pants. We all love jeans, but look, we all also know they can be a little bit uncomfortable for the boys, but not with The Perfect Jean. These jeans fit like they were custom made, stretch like you wouldn't believe, and they look absolutely fantastic. The Perfect Jean also has a seriously massive range of sizes, everything from 26 to 50 and lengths of 26 to 38. These have become my absolute go-to jeans whenever I'm hanging around the house or even going out for the day. And listen, the Perfect Jean isn't even just pants. They've revolutionized t-shirts as well. The Perfect Tee has just enough stretch to hide that beer belly while accentuating your arms and chest for that flawless look. My guys, it's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code Campea at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with the promo code Campea. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support the John Campea Show and tell them we sent you. F your khakis and get the Perfect Jean. Here. Anyway, Chris, you're hearing these reports now from pretty reputable outlets saying they're actually looking to do an IMAX release, 2,000 screens, all this kind of stuff. Does this make sense? Is this a win for Greta? Do you think this is actually real? Could it lead to other experiments like this for Netflix? What do you think?
I think it absolutely makes sense. It absolutely is a win for her. And it's a win for everyone at Netflix because making some money is better than making almost none.
Right.
I don't think people are going to up their subscription or jump on and get a subscription that they don't already have to watch this film. I think people will go to movie theaters to watch The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think they absolutely would go see that on a big screen. I don't think you're going to go, this is the tipping point for whether or not I'm paying them that subscription money.
Yeah.
It's going to be 1 billion new subscribers.
1 billion new subscribers.
billion new
And if
subscribers.
it's not, it's a flop.
Yes.
So I think this is, to your point, the data is already out there. The proof is in the pudding. If you do a theatrical release, even if it's limited, you get more viewership. You make money. It's not that complicated. And so that's why when we have people like Ted Sarantos talking about how that's just not the way we do it, that's not our model, the response should be, well, your model's fucked. Because I brought it up when we were talking about this before last week. Any time that you say that's not the way we've done things around here, it's the kiss of death for your business. It really is. It kills creativity. It kills innovation. You have to try different things out. And yes, doing streaming obviously should be Netflix's bread and butter. But if you were going to do theatrical and you were going to bring on the caliber of writers and directors like a Greta Gerwig, you put that stuff in a theater.
And again, if streaming is your bread and butter, doing this gives you more bread and butter. It makes your streaming bigger.
Yeah.
It makes your streaming, if you say we are primarily a streaming service, great, that means you should do things that will increase your streaming. And by the way, we're not saying every movie should go theatrical.
No.
Not at all. Not in the least.
I love the Princess Switch movies, but how dare you put that in a theater? That'd be wild.
But I mean, there are clearly movies that should go theatrical first, and you'll have more success a little bit later. Anyway, guys, now the one demand I have though is when they do the Narnia movie,
A popcorn bucket?
well, definitely a popcorn bucket, which will clearly be a big Aslan with his mouth open.
Oh, I was going to think a
Aslan-
wardrobe, but
I mean, a wardrobe
good.
popcorn bucket. That's not a bad idea.
It's going to be Mr. Tumnus bending over provocatively.
And it should be filled with what did she calls the candies?
Turkish
oh,
delight.
Turkish delights.
Turkish delights. That's right. Popcorn bucket filled with Turkish delights. Aslan needs to be voiced by whoever does the voice of Barney in The Simpsons. The drunk Barney is that I want that to be the voice of Aslan. Since the beginning of time. And then with the belches and everything.
Every time I watch The Simpsons, I'm like, yep, that's my
He-
allegory
he-
for God
he
right
built
there.
Narnia into creation.
That's Aslan right there. That's perfect Aslan. Anyway, guys, question for you. What do you think about this? I think this would
That
be
would've been
a
Gilbert Gottfried.
fabulous move for Netflix to do this. And they're going to see again that when it hits Netflix, it's going to have a much bigger response than if they just dropped it directly to Netflix. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.